game. Now they'll be facing Fluminense, whereby they definitely have to pick up the 3 points if they are to progress to the last 16. And I've got more here to try and, or not to try, but to discuss that game there so that he can tell us what his thoughts are. Mamelodi Sundowns, it's everything to die for in that field of play. Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Diski Preview Show. And my name is yours truly, Mr. E. I'm joined in the studio by the man himself, whose job and his responsibility is to make sure that he gives us the hot tips, the analysis, and predictions. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you the one and only Mr. Mo.
Mr. E, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic, man. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. I bet the first people that saw the notification for this thing, they just want to come back to say, Mo, you were wrong last week.
You were wrong. Yeah? I was also wrong because I gave my prediction. I thought it was going to be a draw, but I was so close. I was so close. It was a close one, yeah.
We have to talk about that game in detail. We can't talk about it in short.
Most certainly. We'll have to come back to it. Today we're going to be talking about the next game for Mamelodi Sundowns in Group F after they lost 4-3 to Borussia Dortmund. This time around they'll be setting their sights on Fluminense. It's do or die. They need the 3 points to progress to the last 16. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to be looking at that game. Yeah. We're having fun in the studio.
Yeah, we definitely are.
Welcome back. You are still watching the Diski Preview Show as Mo has decided to
break the furniture.
It's
excitement.
Are you angry that Mamelodi Sundowns didn't win that game as per your prediction?
I am.
Oh, come on, man. But this time around, hopefully you're going to get the prediction correct.
No, Mr. E, let's start by saying this. My prediction was not wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't account for human error.
Yes.
You understand? And no offense to anyone who takes that personally, but
the
better team on the day, Sundowns.
Yeah.
Who had the most possession? Sundowns.
Yes.
Who had the better chances? Sundowns.
Yeah.
When you look at the goals that were scored, Dortmund on their side didn't score quality goals.
Yeah. I saw that because most of the goals that were scored by Mamelodi Sundowns, they were constructive goals.
Yes.
But if you look at Dortmund, they only took advantage of errors that were done by Mamelodi Sundowns.
But that's the difference between the best in the world and, I mean, the best in the world take their chances. Whether it's a dubious goal or you don't feel like it was a quality goal. The reality is that they had to be in those positions to create those chances to score those goals.
Yeah.
So I think from that perspective, I'll give Dortmund their 3 points.
Yeah.
I give them their respect and say they won the game fair and square.
Yeah.
They played a really brilliant game. We have to give them credit. But I still stay to the fact that this Dortmund team is building.
Yeah.
And you saw it in the way they created chances. I mean, especially the goal that was the own goal by
Mutau, yes.
You look at how they got into the box on the left flank.
Yeah.
The ball comes in as a cross.
Yeah.
If it was a team where the players have gelled, the number 9 would have tried to get in front of Mutau.
Yes, to finish off that pass.
Exactly. And the player who's crossing would have known where to put the ball for the number 9.
Yeah.
But that was just a hopeful cross. And unfortunately, when it hit Mutau's leg, Ronald Williams was trying to do what he did with the third goal that Dortmund scored, was trying to intercept the cross.
Yeah.
And he was already left, the near post, and that's how the ball went in. I think if it's one thing that we've learned about Ronald Williams is that as a goalkeeper, he's brilliant. I think he's the best, one of the best on the continent. But those mistakes showed that communication between him and his back line, I don't know if it's because he's not familiar with Cupido, but
I thought to myself, I saw that they made a lot of defensive errors at the back there, especially Ronwen Williams, which is something that he normally doesn't do. Do you think maybe it was stage fright or what?
No.
Because they were playing against Dortmund this time around, the people that you normally watch on TV week in, week out, and this time around you were facing them.
But we also watched Sundowns on TV.
Last week, we spoke about this game. We said it was going to be a game of small margins.
Yes.
Very, very critical.
Yeah.
And then what a way to prove us correct by Ronwen Williams by passing the ball to a striker.
Imagine that.
I mean, at that stage.
But at the same time, it's very wrong for us to say he passed the ball to the striker. He was trying to pass the ball to not Morena.
Umukwena, who slept for a couple of seconds there.
And at that point, the player had already read the pass.
Yeah.
So by the time he was making the pass,
Yeah.
the player was already running to intercept in front of Mukwena.
Yeah.
And you can't then say that he can pull that pass. He's not an outfield player. First
Yeah.
of all, people must remember he's a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He's not an outfield player. If you're trying to play out from the back, you have to make sure that the players who are supporting the goalkeeper
Yeah.
are very aware of their surroundings.
Yeah.
For Mokoena to have stood outside the box, wait to receive the pass,
Yeah.
had a player intercept him.
Yeah.
It's not just the goalkeeper's mistake.
Yeah.
You understand? Yes,
Yeah.
the goalkeeper. I mean, in that situation, we'll blame the goalkeeper because he's the one who played the pass.
Who passed, yeah.
But the players around him, did he have enough available players? That's a question maybe people can answer in the comment section.
Yeah.
And also, was it the right decision for him to play it right through the middle?
Yeah.
When you could have played it square or played long? Because the whole idea of playing the ball short
Yeah.
is that you're trying to create spaces somewhere.
Yeah.
And now you can see it's congested here.
Yes.
Why is he not trying to play it out? But
Yeah.
I can't play. Look, I don't want to sit here and complain about Ronan Williams for like an hour.
Yeah, but I think the person who did a very good job is the video analyst for Borussia Dortmund. I think we're seeing this for the second time.
Yeah.
Because the first analyst was the Kaizer Chiefs analyst, whereby they said Suarez has got a tendency of being slow at the back.
Yes,
and then
overplaying.
Overplaying, and then he makes those short passes. They benefited from that. And then obviously in the game between Sundowns and Borussia Dortmund, they know Mamelodi Sundowns, they play for the back, so they rather put a pressing trap right by the edge of the box there to try and win the ball.
But Mr. E, we're talking about a German side.
Yeah.
And German football is known for its pressing.
Yeah.
So already on our side as the Sundowns, we were supposed to have known that, listen, pressing from German sides is very intense.
Yeah.
It's going to be very high because they press very high.
They press very high,
So
yeah.
for them not to have made reservations for that, to say, okay, fine, they will press high. What we'll do is play 3 or 4 passes, play it long.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So we'll play 1-2, gets back to keeper, plays it long.
Yeah.
It says to me that they wanted to play their brand of football, which they did.
Yeah.
It says to me that they thought their brand of football was sufficient enough to beat
Yeah.
the Dortmund, which we all did.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, it could have won them the game. But those errors, like I said, the error I think was a big error was the one near post with Mutau.
Yeah.
Passing the player, outfield player, yes, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
That was a strategic mistake.
Yeah.
To say we're gonna play out from the back.
From the back, yeah.
In defense, in that situation where a player plays the ball wide,
Yeah.
and now Umutau, if you go watch that sequence of events,
Yeah.
and I want anyone who's watching this to go watch it.
Yeah.
Umutau, as that play breaks out,
Yeah.
there's a player who's running across the defensive line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Umutau is shoulder to shoulder with Cupido. Kind of
yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
Like they're too close to each other.
Yeah.
So what's happening is it's creating a gap behind Umutau.
Yeah.
And he's here with Cupido, but he's watching the player on the ball. He's not scanning to see the player behind him.
Yeah.
And then what happens is that
man running.
the third man running. And what happens is as soon as that pass goes out wide,
Yeah.
he's trusting his pace to catch up to block that cross.
Yeah.
While he's making that run to go block that cross, he can't
Yeah.
see behind him anymore.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know what's happening behind him.
Yeah.
As he's running to go catch up to that situation there, the backline behind him is now on a back foot. You guys are running backwards now.
Yeah.
So the ball goes out wide. He's trying to catch up to that.
Yeah.
He's too far away from the player on the ball to affect a block.
Yeah, yeah.
So which means that he must run what? Square.
Square.
So he must basically run and block the passing lane.
Yeah.
As he's running to go block the passing lane, there's a critical issue in what happened there. You're looking at your right back and your center back too close to each other in that piece of play.
Yeah.
If they stand like this, there's no one protecting the wide flank.
Yeah.
Your midfielders are here trying to block this player from running and getting opportunities.
Yeah.
You've created a space for a player out wide to get there. Once the ball gets there, you don't have enough pace to go catch up and close him off.
Yeah.
That's why the cross comes in and Mutau throws a leg in.
Yeah.
But if you look at the distance the ball traveled before it got to Mutau,
Yeah.
he was supposed to be closer to that player.
Yeah. Try and close him down.
And that's why the ball ricocheted into the back of the net.
Yeah.
But now, from a goalkeeping perspective,
Yeah.
you are the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You see the full picture.
Yeah.
Because it's happening over there.
Yeah.
You're not telling Umutau, boy, on your right hand side, on the
Yes,
right flank,
there's danger.
leave what's happening there.
Yeah.
Go there.
Yeah.
Because I always say when I play football that defense is a verbal job. You don't play at the back if you if you can't talk.
Yeah.
If you can't bark orders, don't play at the back.
Yeah.
Because the whole purpose of playing at the back is remembering that we are playing with our backs to goal. And the only way for us to be able to affect proper defensive strategy is if someone can tell us the bigger picture that we can't see.
Yes.
Because the moment they lost the ball, there was a turnover of the ball.
Yeah.
They're all punching over to the left.
Yeah.
So now who's telling Umtao to go, Twana, go right?
Yeah, there's a space
Forget,
there.
Cupido is there.
Yeah, he's going to deal with that.
Yeah, you deal with it.
Yeah.
You go and cover the run on the right.
Yeah.
So by the time Umutau sees the ball go, he looks, there's a man. He's trying to catch up to that man.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like the mistake happened. The goal happened. In football, a goal always happens 3 passes before it finds the back of the net.
Yeah. Now the defensive pairing of Cupido and Grant Kekana. Do you think that was the best that Mamelodi Sundowns was supposed to field on that day, considering the fact that we're facing a German machine?
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with the strategy, Mr. E. I think at the end of the day, the strategy did put them in a position to win the game.
Yeah.
The only thing was it exposed individual players. Cupido didn't look comfortable the whole game.
Yeah.
Umutau was playing an exceptional game. It's just that he got the own goal.
Yeah.
I think Ulunga. Oh my goodness, that left back.
He's a beast.
I
think I can say the left back and the right back. I think for Mamelodi Sundowns they are always on top. Maybe the problem where they need to try and focus on is the
midfield.
Not the midfield, but the back two. Either pairing Grant no Cupido. I don't think that was the best on that specific day, and I don't think they've played together for too long to understand each other.
Exactly.
Maybe Libusa should have been there to try and give guidance, even if what's his name, Ronwen Williams, if is not saying anything, Libusa can come in and shout instructions.
They were actually, if you look at the relationship between Kekana and Cupido in that game, they were stepping on each other's toes.
Yeah,
because there was a chance that Dortmund got of a misplaced pass to Kekana from Cupido.
Yeah.
If you look at that pass, it happened, they intercepted it once.
Yeah.
That same mistake happened about 5 minutes later.
Yeah, again.
The same mistake.
Yeah.
So you're asking yourself, okay, guys, we are watching this game. The video analysts are probably sitting down with the players and saying, look, you did this, we did this, we need to change this, we need to fix this. But the most important thing is Ronwen Williams is a brilliant goalkeeper, he's a shot stopper.
Yeah.
But he needs to become more vocal.
Yeah.
He needs to be able to look at the bigger picture and talk to his players.
Yeah, and scream.
When they interviewed Peter Cech at the end of his career about why he was so brilliant as a goalkeeper, most of the players who played with him said he was the guy who you'd hear shouting instructions at you in the middle of a corner.
Yeah.
You hear him shouting instructions at you in the middle of a free kick. And most importantly, when you're on the back foot and they're counter-attacking, he was the one saying, guys, on the left-hand side. You just scan once.
Yeah.
You just scan once and you're able to tell players around you that you look and you're like, look, Mr. E behind you.
Yeah.
We have a man there.
Yeah, men on.
You have a man there.
Yeah.
You understand? So that you can also scan. Because sometimes players forget to scan. The situation's happening now.
Yeah.
They're wondering, okay, Uyagu. And then that's what happens.
Yeah.
So, Mr. E, that's all I have to say about that game. I think for one, Sundowns played a brilliant game. Ribeiro scored a beautiful goal.
Yeah. I think that's beginning to become a trademark of his. I think that goal reminds me of the one that he scored against Orlando Pirates.
Yeah.
I think it was the Net Cup. I'm not sure which competition it was, but he's getting too good at this.
It was
the Nedbank Cup, whereby he sliced through the defense line, and that's exactly what happened when they were playing against Dortmund, because
right through the middle,
the wingers were stretching the defensive line of Dortmund, and so they were opening a space in between. So all he had to do was to be quick and run. And I would like to say it was a job well done for Miguel Cardoso, because I can see that the front two, he injected a lot of pace in there. So it was going to be challenging for the Dortmund defenders.
And I think the nature of this competition also puts them in a very difficult position, because you have to take into consideration that as a team, they're also looking at qualification. They're also looking at player fitness. They've just finished playing a full season, so they're trying to manage all these things. And for them to have almost gotten a draw, in fact,
how many years has it been for Mamelodi Sundowns? They never rest. Year in, year out. It's been competitions in and out. But that does explain why they have a very big squad like that.
Exactly.
To try and manage.
But Cardoso has a bigger challenge now as we go into the next game. That he needs to win it now.
Yeah, he definitely needs to win it,
because it's either him or Fluminense going in. So they have to make sure that it's between the two of them. They're all sitting on 4 points. They have to figure out who's gonna go, who's gonna stay. And I think at this point in time, it's gonna have to be a situation of, if it's either you guys lose and we go through, or if we draw, you guys could possibly leave us here. So they have to win it.
But I can tell you right now, if Mamelodi Sundowns had beaten Dortmund, they would have gone to claim the top spot there.
They would have qualified.
Probably qualified for the last 16. But the pandemonium that you're going to see in South Africa, it was going to be something else.
But around the world, Mr. E, people are appreciating Mamelodi Sundowns. I mean, if you look at social media, there's guys who I know as Manchester United fans, people who I know as Arsenal fans, who post regularly with those teams that are now supporting Sundowns. So let's see. Hopefully they go through and we can continue this dream run. Maybe they pull off a Ghana 2010. And then or Morocco 2022. See, I watch football.
Most certainly. Okay, now let's quickly look at some of the groups and the action that is taking place there. Al Ahly it's not coming right for Jose Ribeiro there, and already fingers are being pointed at him. It's not easy for him at this current at this moment.
Do you not think that this is down to the fact that this whole thing of trying to jump on the World Cup bandwagon, with clubs like Al Ahly saying no, we're gonna get rid of our coach and get a new one?
Yeah, for a big competition.
You understand? For me, it's just. It doesn't make sense. Ribeiro, I mean, if Ribeiro took his Pirates, they'll probably perform better. Players who know him, players who trust him,
they know
management that trust him.
Philosophy.
But now Al Ahly have a new coach at the helm. You can't blame him for this run of results. He doesn't know his players that well, and that's why he's ending up in a situation like this.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's a linguist or what. But do you think, in terms of languages, communication, do they understand with? Do they understand each other?
I don't think
Spanish
it's
and Arabic.
He's
pulling another Nabi there.
It's a Nabi. I was about to say it's another Nabi, but he's in a difficult group. Porto, Miami, Palmeiras. They were always looked at as the team that would probably struggle in this group. Alongside Porto, they look at what's happened. Palmeiras, Miami at the top. Obviously for FIFA, this is great news because then Messi goes through to the next round.
And the stadiums will be filled up in the USA. Exactly. Only 1 point to show for their 2 games so far. Do you think they stand the chance of winning? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either. I think at this point, it's almost curtains.
Okay, Group B. Who's going through? Currently, Botafogo sitting at 6 points. Complete. Perfect score. Perfect points. Perfect everything.
Botafogo.
Is there anything else?
I think before the game started, people never looked at Botafogo as the team that would be sitting there. But it's actually brilliant to see this now because you always expect the Europeans to go through, but Atletico is at risk of not going through. PSG is at risk of not going through. I personally, I'd like to say the opening game was PSG versus Atletico. I remember. The game ended in a draw. If I'm not, wait, was it a draw?
PSG end?
Atletico.
PSG has got no, there are no draws in that
Atletico
group.
won that game. So I'm not sure who won that game, but what I like to see about this is that it's brilliant to see that people's bias of European football always being the best is now being challenged by the fact that Botafogo sitting top of this group with 2 wins under their belt, 3 goals scored, 1 goal conceded, and they're currently sitting on 6 points. So between PSG and Atletico Madrid, we'll see who goes through.
Group C.
Group
C. Bayern Munich sitting pretty right at the top.
I think PSG beat Seattle this morning at 6-0 something.
It was okay. It was
so Atletico I think beat PSG.
All right. Group C. Bayern Munich sitting pretty right at the top there with 6 points, with a goal difference of 11. They mean business.
Top goal
followed by
scorers.
Benfica, and then you've got Boca Juniors, and then number 4 it's Auckland City. Doesn't look good because already they've conceded like 16 goals.
But you don't think the scary part about this entire conversation that we're having right now is Auckland City conceding 16 goals and not even scoring 1.
Exactly. I think that's. But anyway, we know that they're not professional footballers. So
they're semi-pro. But
do you know how it feels like to play two games and pick up the ball from the back of your net 16 times? I think that goalkeeper must be tired by now. Not from playing, but from picking up the ball from the back of the net.
The problem with soccer at this point, Mr. E, is that it's a team sport. And to get 16 men in the same page is difficult. So now the coach is being tested, the players are being tested. They're not here because they were just randomly picked. They work to get here. So for them to have a situation like this, I'm telling you, Mr. E, with the money they're going to get, this team will turn professional. Understand? Because now they've got the pocket to make it happen.
Exactly.
The players can now go back and say, listen, I can't be a supervisor anymore.
Now need to concentrate on my career.
Which is why we want to see things like this. I think that's the one positive from the Club World Cup, that a team like Auckland City can play against the Bayern Munich. Yes, they lost 11-0, but in the context of the business side of football, it's great for their team because now they can turn into a professional setup.
Okay. Group E, River Plate. Sitting at position number 1, followed by Inter Milan. Urawa Diamonds, nowhere to be seen in the top 3.
Mr. E, you can't say that. Urawa is it Diamonds or Dragons?
Diamonds.
They opened the scoring. They really opened the scoring against, this team?
They're playing against River Plate.
I think it was Inter. They opened the scoring against
Inter.
And then they messed it up. They opened the scoring, but they ended up messing it up at the end. But at least we are not talking about a team that's just
Yeah.
They're giving it a run for its money. So
Exactly.
I will say one thing about the Asian teams, that they've represented themselves well. They might have not been able to win any games, but they've represented themselves well. They've got goals. They've proven their point to say, listen, we're also playing at a higher level. And don't forget that Club World Cups used to be hosted in Asia.
So
for them, it's a familiar tournament. They know it very well.
They've been there before.
And they've been there before. But it's something that's been happening in the history where they get knocked out in the first round of the competition. But they really represent. They scored goals against some of the biggest teams in the world. I mean, Rawa, if I'm not mistaken, scored 2 goals against Inter. So which was also very impressive. So we'll see what happens from here.
Fantastic. Now Group F, the group where Mamelodi Sundowns is, and currently they're sitting at position number 3 with 3 points, and they'll be facing their last game against Fluminense. I think that will be match day 3 for them, and with everything to lose, should they not beat Fluminense?
Mr. E, they will beat Fluminense.
Okay, all right. We'll get back to that.
No, but we'll get back to that.
Let's go to Group G. Juventus sitting right at the top there. Manchester City position number 2. With that, no points to show for their journey to the World Cup club champion club to the Club World Cup. You can say it.
Mr. E, Group G has my tournament winner in it, Manchester City.
With 2 wins out of 2?
2 wins out of 2. But look at the important stat. No goals conceded.
Exactly.
It's still at 0.
Yeah.
They've played Wydad. They've played Alin. They're going to play Juventus. So now...
That's where they're going to concede a goal.
The tournament is starting.
No, that's where they're going to concede a goal there. Because between Juventus and Man City, one of them has to go through. And according to your predictions, it's Manchester City that will go through.
All the way.
All the way. Oh, yeah. They're not meeting Mamelodi Sundowns this time around in the final.
We'll see. The tournament's not over.
Chance.
Tournament's not over.
Okay, Group H, Real Madrid, 4 points in 2 games.
Real Madrid. They did pull off a nice win in their last game. A lot of people didn't think they could do that, but they did it well, and now they're sitting on 4 points alongside Salzburg, who are also sitting on 4 points. 1 win, 1 draw for both teams. But Real Madrid, 4 goals scored, 2 goals conceded. Xabi Alonso's first goal as a manager for Real Madrid was scored by Arda Güler, which was fantastic. Jude Bellingham also on the score sheet. So there's a lot to look forward to. But like I said, it's a team in transition, new coach, building up. The fact that Arda Güler is getting more game time shows you a lot about where the coach's intentions are for this team. And they're losing the likes of Modric in them. So Real Madrid, good for them. They'll definitely go through with Salzburg behind them. Al Hilal and Pachuca, I'm not sure.
Pachuca.
They can call it curtains.
Okay. And then the last one is Group D. Flamengo, another team. That's surprising a lot of people sitting right at the top there. 6 points, 2 out of 2.
Why are you surprised, Mr. E, by Flamengo?
No, because I've got Chelsea there. I thought they were going to do very well. We've got Esperance there. We've got Los Angeles there. All of them not being able to match Flamengo going into match day 3.
It's giving group of death. You can see it already. It's giving D for death.
Flamengo,
Esperance, Chelsea can still all go through. I think in the next game, I'm not sure who's facing who. But I'll check for you. But I think it's going to be quite an interesting day because Chelsea already faced Flamengo. I believe that Chelsea is facing Esperance next because they did beat Los Angeles. So I think that Esperance Chelsea is going to be because Esperance will also have a bone to pick. They'll be like, hey, you have a chance to go through.
Because Esperance is from Africa and it's one of the 2 African sides that managed to pick up a full haul of points, which is 3. So I think it's good for them to do that. All they need to do now is to try and win the last game, and let's see if they'll be able to go through from
100%, Mr. E. So now let's go into the bigger conversation. This is the one I like to talk about. Top goal scorers. In terms of teams and top defenses. You know, I like to look at the stat, Mr. E. I think one thing about top offenses and top defenses that most football fans don't follow. If a team for me is in the top 5 of both. Top offense, top defense. They literally are the teams that usually go on and win these things. I mean, if you look at what Sundowns does every season in the PSL, they always have the best defense, they always have the best attack. And they put them up there. So if you look at this right now, top 5 top offenses is basically Bayern Munich, Juventus, Benfica, Man City and Flamengo. If you look at top defenses, Man City, Palmeiras, Al Hilal, Bayern Munich and Botafogo. So just bear in mind, Bayern Munich have only conceded 1 goal. But they've scored 12.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a
And
big
10 of those goals were from
against Auckland.
Down under.
But from down under.
Yeah.
But for me, Man City is the team I want to look at, because Manchester City are currently sitting top defense,
Yeah.
and they're sitting in the top 4 of the
haven't considered
attacks.
anything at
They
all.
haven't considered any goals.
Yeah.
But the more beautiful thing is that they've scored 8 goals.
Yeah,
So
that's
for
good.
me, it's a healthy little balance for Manchester City, which
Yeah.
I think will be the reason why they go on to win this tournament at the end.
Yeah. Okay, that's fantastic. Let's quickly take a breather. When we come back, we're going to look at the game that will be taking place on Wednesday. It's a do or die game for Mamelodi Sundowns as they set their sights on Fluminense, the current leaders of Group H. The technical ability of Mamelodi Sundowns was tested by the German precision and aggression. 7 goals were scored, and Mamelodi Sundowns lost that game. Now they'll be facing Fluminense, whereby they definitely have to pick up the 3 points if they are to progress to the last 16. And I've got more here to try not to try, but to discuss that game there so that he can tell us what his thoughts are. Mamelodi Sundowns, it's everything to die for in that field of play.
Yeah, Mr. E, I think the main thing we have to first discuss and first acknowledge is the fact that it's a do or die. No win, no progression.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing about World Cups, is that you can go and win the first game, but if you don't win the next 2, you definitely are in trouble of going home. But let's not also forget that beyond that, it's a Wafa tournament. So you either win the matches or you don't.
Or you don't.
Or you go
then
home.
You go home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, like last week, I was pretty sure that we're looking at the ingredients that we use to make predictions. That then Mamelodi Sundowns would go through and win that game. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. And it happened that the yellow, I would like to call him submarine from Germany, went on and won that game. All the stats pointed towards a Dortmund win, but at the end of the day, possession doesn't mean much. Goal expected. Listen to this. Goals expected for Manchester City. I mean for Mamelodi Sundowns. 2.74. For Dortmund, it was 1.72.
So they were supposed to win.
They were supposed to win.
Yeah, but looking at the passes completed, we've got 511, while Germany had 316. I can tell you that I was watching that game. I thought Mamelodi Sundowns was Dortmund at that particular moment in time. Because they were playing so well. They were fantastic.
They dominated.
They dominated the game.
It would be a shame not to see them go through.
It
would have been nice to see the South Americans and the Africans go through with the Germans going home. But the situation as it stands at this moment in time is that if Sundowns draw this game, they'll have to rely on Ulsan HD to win against Dortmund, which at this point in time,
highly unlikely.
Exactly. So it's all in Sundowns' hands against Fluminense. I've heard reports that they've been preparing for this game since before they left South Africa. So I want to give it to Sundowns a 1-0 win.
Against Fluminense.
Against Fluminense.
Are you aware that you're going to be here next week here so to discuss this?
Yeah, I know. I'm going to be here next week.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you your prediction again. I'm giving you an opportunity for you to retract that.
Retract my statement.
Retract your statement. Remember, Fluminense drew with Dortmund. I did watch that game there. I think they were brilliant on the day. Fluminense, they were supposed to win that. Somehow, Dortmund does have the ability to turn things around and win the game, even if they are not playing very well. Is it the coach? Is it the tactics of the coach or something?
I think beyond the tactics, I think there's certain things about these two teams we've seen. Ronald Williams needs to pull up his socks, forget about what happened, and go into this game as a Ronald Williams we know. And then I think if he plays his game right, if they get that back line working fine, they're going to win this game. The reason I say that is because if you look at Sundowns over the last few games, they've not conceded more than 3 goals until they met Dortmund. In most of the games,
the last time that they conceded 4 goals was actually at the FIFA World Cup. I think they were playing against one of the Asian teams there. And so when we're looking at 2016, that's 9 years.
Exactly. So if you look at their last 5 games, they didn't concede against Magesi. They conceded 1 against Pyramids at home. They conceded 2 against Pyramids away. They conceded 1. No, they didn't concede against Ulsan HD. And then Dortmund was where they conceded. For Fluminense, they managed to keep Dortmund at bay, which was a goalless game. But for me, I think that coming into this game, Sundowns will find a way past them the same way Ulsan HD did, and then we'll see ourselves happy, screaming Kabuyelo,
Yeah.
and then going through to the next round.
Yeah.
And man, you'll be back here next
Yeah.
week talking about who they're going to face in the round of 16.
Yeah, the man at the helm of that team is Miguel Cardoso. What do you think he has to do right to make sure that he gets the positive results?
He has to focus on the result. I mean, in fact, I think he has to listen to his analytics team.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it's the same thing that happened with Kaiser's Chiefs against Sundowns.
Yeah.
Same thing that happened with Sundowns against Dortmund.
Yeah.
The analysis worked.
Yeah.
They saw that, okay, they play out from the back. If we get them there, we'll get the goal. Football at this moment in time is that he has gone away from personalities. It's gone into structures and systems.
Yeah.
And if they play the right system and they know how to counter the system that the opponent is going to play, they'll find joy and find the back of the net easily.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So your prediction, you still stand with your prediction
Yeah,
that
still with Sundowns.
Mamelodi Sundowns is going to win by 1-0.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's going to be 3.
You think it's 1 goal? You think it's 3-0?
Yeah, 3-0 to
Sundowns.
to Mamelodi Sundowns. I mean, scoring 3 goals against Dortmund.
I just want to say, before we close this, Mr. E.
Yeah.
I just want to say this to anyone who's watching this, like, no, these guys don't know what they're talking about. Listen.
Yeah.
We know that Fluminense
Yeah.
is in the Serie A in Brazil. We know they're currently sitting 6th.
Yeah.
We know they have 20 points on the board, 4 points behind Flamengo, who are number 1 at the top.
Yeah.
We're not underestimating their ability.
Yeah.
We know how good of a team they are.
They are.
We're just saying that as Betfred South Africa representatives and analysts of the game
as well.
Yes, then we have to, when we go home, the Sundowns fans could stop us on the way home and say, "You guys say it."
Yeah.
So we have to go.
Yeah.
We want to go with Sundowns to win.
Yeah.
But just bear in mind that Fluminense is
Okay.
doing well this season.
Fantastic. I think we are in agreement here in the studio that Mamelodi Sundowns is going to win the game against Fluminense and progress to the last 16. What are your predictions at home there? I know you are itching to tell us what exactly is going to happen on Wednesday. Let us know in the comment section. A lot of people are backing Mamelodi Sundowns to win this one. I've met a couple of people on the streets. They've told me that way. Let us know in the comment section. And thank you very much for watching this episode of the Diski Preview Show. My name is Mr. E.